In this video series, we share a relatively rare insight into the practice of private readings in evidential mediumship, which differ fundamentally from the more widely known public demonstrations, of course. All the sitters agreed willingly to the publication of the readings, since they are all part of the spiritual community and understand the benefits of sharing and giving. Hence, it doesn't come as a surprise that a lot of the information in the readings gear around that topic. To understand the depth of the process, you would have to feel into the presence and into the matter of the subject, which is closely related to each and everyone's heart. And of course, you would have to watch the videos from the beginning to the end. Enjoy. Good, so just give me a few seconds, please.
Sure.
Right away there's a gentleman coming through. And I know that this gentleman was a little bit on the heavy side. He was not a slim man, right? He was a little bit on the heavy side. And I feel that this should be one of your grandfathers, and he's telling me that he was a very active man, that he did a lot of things in his life, right? I feel that at times he was traveling a lot. At times he was for business. He was traveling a lot. He was very engaged in business. But at other times he spent a lot of time at home with the family, engaging in family matters. So there must have been these two sides of him, and also I feel that both there was time periods where he spent more time traveling and other prolonged time periods where he spent more time at home.
Yes.
I feel that, would you understand that so far for one of your grandfathers?
I understand it for both.
For both? Okay.
Same information.
I feel that he actually, he provided very well for his family. He provided well for his family. And also I feel that he was able to provide for his family homes. I feel that for his children and even other members of the extended family, he was engaged in helping them, or even buying them, or at least helping them in buying or maintaining homes, like apartments or something, or houses, I don't know, but at least several of them, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you understand that as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Would that narrow that down for one, or also applies for two, to the two?
I can take it for one. I don't know for the other.
You can take it for one. Good.
With the one.
Okay.
Yes.
So you would also understand. He gives me a big smile, a really big smile, and the smile is a very warm smile. Would you understand? This is what
Yes.
I feel. He had a very warm-hearted smile. This is what he's giving me at the very moment, and.
Yes.
And right away, I feel also a very a warm-hearted feeling towards you, right? He wants to take you by the hands and Yeah, he wishes he could guide you into a very beautiful home where everything is set, because he enjoyed that, right? He enjoyed
Yes.
providing for people, and he wished he could to take you right away by the hand and slip you out over where he is living now, because where he is living now is extremely beautiful, he tells you, and all the homes that he provided and all the beauty that he managed to um, to create through his work and his activities, he says, was nothing compared to where they live now. It is
Okay.
so much more beautiful, so much more colorful, and so much more. He says the warmth and the beauty and the total lack of challenges and real challenges and problems and fear, as what he says, the total lack of fear where they live is providing for homes that are surpass the homes that on the earth plane by far. And he says it's not, yeah, he says it's not yet time for you to enjoy that. You still have quite a lot to do in your life. And now he's getting a little bit more, he's not serious, but but he's a little more to the point. You still have things to do, right? It's not, and he says, of course, there's also no hurry in any way. He just wants to give you that outlook, right, on life, where we all go. And he says he had. Would you understand that sometimes he engaged in dancing, something like traditional dancing, something slow? Because well, would you understand that?
Yes.
That's what I see, but it must be a slower dance, not nothing
Yes.
nothing exaggerated and something. And I feel that he did that also together with his wife. So they were
Yes.
somehow dancing, and it looks more like it is or during a festivity where they were dancing together. So they were doing it for fun, but at the same time, it was also kind of a ritual, right? It was at
Yes.
the same time both together, right? So joy and ritual together as part of these family gatherings. He enjoyed the family gatherings very much, and he's showing me a table full of food and full of things, I don't know, piled up like this right on the table. Uh,
Okay.
there and I also feel that he loved children. He loved children and he loved grandchildren, right? He loved his
Yes.
grandchildren. I feel there must have been quite a few grandchildren, actually. I don't know,
Yes.
quite a few
Yes.
grandchildren. And when they were together in his house, I feel that he's talking also about the gatherings in his own house, right? In his own house. He was very happy. And of course, you were part of that. You were part of that. And I know that at least on one occasion you sat on his lap, and he was telling something, or maybe I feel in a louder voice, maybe even reciting something, or maybe even singing something like that. Not, would you understand that situation? You
Um,
remember
uh,
that?
he must have. I don't remember it, but I
Mhm.
I can see him doing that. Yes.
This is what I see. But in UK, you would also understand that um, he was an outgoing man. He spoke his
Yes.
mind, but he
Yes.
was but he was very um, um, controlled in that. I feel controlled. He was not someone who lost his temper, right? I feel
Mm.
I feel even when he was angry, he was restricted. He didn't shout without nothing, right? He didn't do that. He managed, because he was someone who could manage problems, right? And he managed them
Mm.
problems really, and he knew you don't shout. You restrict your heart, and then you see how you manage the problem. And this is what he did. He was this kind of man, and that's why he was so successful in business and in life.
Yes.
I also feel that. I feel that he was would you understand that part that he I'm not sure if this is business, but he's showing me certificates that he's writing. He's giving signatures to some kind of certificates that he's giving out, like giving approval, some kind of approval to some people. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Right. And so he was part of some organization that gave out these certificates to people. That was not just himself. That was an organizational thing where he was part of, but he was also the one in the, I don't know, from the committee or the higher committee or whatever on the higher board that were giving out these certificates to people. That was
Okay.
something fairly
Yes.
important for these people. You would understand that for the
Yes.
way and for the career and for the social life, something that was important. You can
Mhm.
understand that.
Yes.
Okay. And you would also understand that he's talking about three daughters of his. Would you understand that he had three daughters?
Oh, yes. One had passed. Yes. Three
One of them.
daughters. Yes.
Three daughters of his, right?
Yes. Three.
And I feel that he cherished them very much. I feel that actually, yes, he cherished them very much, and I feel that he spoiled them a little bit. He spoiled. I don't know
Hmm.
if you know that, but maybe you know. He spoiled them quite a bit. These three
Yes.
daughters with everything that he could. While
Yes.
he feels now, well, with his sons, he also had a few sons, right? He
One.
one.
Only one. Yeah.
He's talking about he's bringing him a few sons, right? Then let me see. But at least let's stay with this son first. With
Okay.
his son, he was a little bit he was more traditional and more strict, right? Much more.
Yes.
He didn't spoil him in that way, of course.
Yes.
That he's and he's bringing to my attention that this was correct, right? It was not that he did wrong in that. That was very much
Yes.
correct, right? Because it did him well. But he also
Yes.
talking about sons. Then he talking about grandson. Let me see. Son-in-laws. He's talking about
Okay.
son-in-laws, right? He's talking about the
Yes.
several son-in-laws that he met, right? That he met,
Yes.
and he also he was he was a little bit more firm, right? He was not spoiling them in that sense. He
Yes.
was more firm, and he demanded the right demeanor and the right posture for them, from
Yes.
them, excuse me, from them. He demanded that
Yes.
from them because he understood that is a general an important is general of importance, but also, of course, to secure the life of his daughters,
Mhm.
so that they have a straight and capable husband, right? So he
Yes.
was also a little bit of a I think that in that sense, he was a little bit of controlling. He liked to control also. He also liked to
Yes.
control. Right? Very,
Yes.
as I said, he very much liked to control.
Yes.
Yeah, that is what he says. He tell me that he was very, he's very content now. Now he's a little bit of a pride, self-contentiousness. He says to me, "I was controlling everything, I had everything in my hand, and I did it good." He says, but I also enjoyed that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was. So it gives me the classical image of the classical patriarch, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I got a good feeling here. At least that's what he's giving to me. I know, right? That's
Okay.
what he's giving to me. I
Yes.
get a very good
Yes.
feeling. And I feel now he wants to talk about you, right? So are you sure whom we have here, right? Are you clear
Yes.
which of
Yes.
the grandfathers we have
This
here,
is my
right?
maternal grandfather, my
Maternal
mom's mom.
grandfather.
Yes.
Right, right. He wants to talk about you. He wants to talk about your situation in life at the very moment, right? He says you are in general. He says you are a woman that okay, you are a woman that is very intelligent, and you are a woman that has matured. And he's not talking about age, right? He's not talking about age. Okay, he's talking about character, right? You have matured through everything that you lived through in
Okay.
your life, and your
Mm.
intelligence helped you very much in that. But he says also you got a good education. You received a good education,
Yes.
like your
Yes.
mother did receive a good education, because
Yes.
everyone in his house received a good education, right?
Correct.
He's
Correct.
coming back to
Correct.
that, right? But nevertheless. He says good education is a tool, but a tool that cannot be handled is worthless. But you could handle that, and you're still handling that very well. He
Yes.
wants you to understand that everything that you went through has a purpose, right? Had a purpose no matter what it was, right? And that you are now at the very moment in your life where you know that already, where you are going through a significant shift, a consciousness shift, right? Where you
Yes.
will meet, where you will not meet, where you will become much more aware, much more open, and much more, mm, 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 much more stable in yourself. In
Okay.
yourself. Okay, you'll become
Okay.
much more stable in yourself. That's what he says, because right by now you did have to you did have to fight, even to battle, right, in life with what was happening to you, right? But he says now that is past, and you learned your lessons very well. He said you learned your lessons very well, and he's giving me a smile now, but it's a different kind of smile. It's a smile with some with how can I describe that smile? Because that's very important here. He's communicating with his smiles, actually. He's giving a smile that is not so warm-hearted, but it's giving a smile that is much more comprehensive, on a much more deeper level, right? On a much
Okay.
more on a much more deeper level. Whereas he's smiling at you in the sense like, I know, and you're about to know, right? This kind of smile, okay? If you
Okay.
understand
Okay.
you understand what I'm
Yes.
talking about, yes?
Yes.
This is what he's giving to you. And he wants you to understand that now it's time for you to really find your own purpose, because this is what you're still looking for. Okay, your real
Mm.
purpose, your soul purpose,
Yes.
beyond everything that you lived, beyond family, beyond work, beyond everything, right? Your
Yes.
soul purpose. Of course, everything is part of that, but now it's for you time to really get into that and grasp it, right? And
Okay.
I feel that he's telling me that a few weeks ago, not so long ago, you find a specific way, that a specific spiritual technique to you that is new to you. It's not that
Yes.
it's just a few weeks ago, right? Something you
Yes.
found. You got a track. It's something like you said. It's almost like you stumbled upon it, right? Right?
Yes.
You were not actively looking for that. Suddenly it was there, you stumbled upon it, and then you found it interesting, and then now he says you're not yet engaging to the fullest in that, but you're thinking about it, right? You're very attracted
Yes.
to it. And he says, that's
Yes.
it. Do that.
Okay. Okay.
Do that. And this will lead you to more, he says. This will lead you to more. And one thing that is very important for you to understand, that everything is a step. Everything is an unfoldment, right? An unfoldment. Don't don't mistake the tool for the work.
Okay.
Don't mistake
Okay.
this. Don't mistake the step for the journey.
Yes.
In other words, don't get stuck, right? Don't get stuck
Okay. Okay.
in one practice, or in one technique, or in one mindset, right? He says everything leads again and again more to much more and more unfoldment of wisdom, inner stability, and direction. And then you will find the one that you are looking for.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that means. You can, that is a this is a sentence with many, you can interpret many meanings
Yes.
here. But it just came to
Yes.
me, and I don't want to interpret, right? The one
Yes.
you're looking for, right? So you will,
Yes.
you will find that, and you will see that, okay? So
Yes.
he's very happy actually that you came to that point at the moment, and he's very happy that you have now the life that is necessary to do that, because not every lifestyle allows that to happen. But you can
Yes.
engage now in this spiritual search, in this unfoldment of yourself, basically,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Right. Okay, thank you. I want to, I feel that he's stepping, and he really loves you so much. There's one more thing that he wants to say about your husband. Don't forget him in that way, right? Don't forget him in that way, right?
Okay.
Okay. I feel that your husband, I think that your husband in that regard is not as advanced as you. That's what he's telling
No.
me, right? He's
No.
not.
Yes.
Yes, he's not. He says, but don't forget him, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
That's beautiful. That's
Okay.
beautiful. Shall
Thank
I give
you.
you some feedback?
Let me see if someone else is
Okay.
coming. I feel that
Okay.
there's a lady coming through. Yes,
Okay.
please give me feedback later. But
Okay.
there's some
Okay.
lady coming through, and
Okay.
I've got the feeling of an aunt, right? You said that one of his daughter passed. Maybe this one, I don't know. Maybe it's another one, another aunt. Would you
Okay.
understand that I have one? Um, would you understand that there was one aunt of yours that passed away with some form of cancer,
Yes.
right? Would you understand that this aunt, um, uh, at the end of her life, she was suffering a lot. I feel that, right?
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
he was suffering a lot. And I feel more suffering here on my left side. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes. Yes.
On the left side, right? Okay. So
You're
we have
right.
this aunt
Yes.
here on the left side. Okay. And right. But she comes through and she wants to tell you that, would you understand that she had two children? She has two children.
She has one son and one grandson, and she always felt they're both my children. So I can
Okay.
understand what she's saying. Yes.
She's talking about these two children, right?
Yes.
One son and one grandson. Okay.
Yes.
And would you understand that when she was in her lifetime, she very much enjoyed driving a car and maybe even a little bit faster. Would you know about that?
Yes. Yes. She loved
She
driving her car.
she
Yes.
loved driving her car, right?
Yes.
Ah, but she also must have had. She also loved to tell everybody off. So she was a little bit of a complicated character, obviously,
She
right?
loved to tell people off.
She
Yes.
loved to tell people off, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, right. And even at one point in her life, there's something about smoking. Either I feel that she wanted to smoke, but she didn't, or she started smoking and she stopped, something like that. Would you
Didn't
understand
stop.
that?
She didn't stop. Yeah.
She didn't stop. She did not stop.
Yeah.
There we go. Something about smoking, right? Oh, she should have
Yes.
stopped,
Yes.
right? Probably
Yes.
that.
She should
So
have. Yes.
she should have stopped. Okay, something about
Yes.
smoking. So okay, so that is also significant, right? So
Yes.
this is your aunt. You're clear about that aunt, right?
My mother's younger sister. So
This
she's
one,
come with her father. She's
she
come with
come
her
with her
father.
father. Great, thank you.
Yes.
Right. I feel that she also wants to. You have the ability to talk to her son.
Yes, I talk to him very often. Yes.
Yes, the ability, the possibilities, better speak, right? The
Yes.
possibilities been there. She's very clear now. Tell him clearly about me.
Okay.
Tell him clearly about me. Um, I'm, he's still he's still suffering from what I have gone through and what he has gone through, right? He's still
Yes.
suffering from that.
Yes.
And she says that is might be natural, but she wants to alleviate that suffering by making him known that she's perfectly okay now, right? She's
Yes.
perfectly that there's he should know that there's no these kind of sufferings do not exist where they live.
Okay.
They are gone. It's physical. Is this one,
Yes.
and she's very happy where she lives. She's not
Okay.
only with her father and all the families, she's also engaging in a lot of activities with in building. Would you understand that during her lifetime she had some kind of she was engaged in some kind of activity where she brought people together on a communicative level? Something. Would you know about
Yes.
that?
Yes.
She says this is continuing here in the spirit world. I'm helping in bringing people together in the spirit world from all kind of levels, and she's talking about consciousness levels and making them understand each other. And I facilitate this comprehension and mutual understanding because this is what I can do, and this is also what I learned on the earth plane, right?
Yes.
And thereby, she wants you to understand that when you talk to her son, she will be there and facilitate the comprehension and the communication between you two. Because don't be put off if her son is a little bit a little bit. Doesn't take that so open-heartedly at the beginning, right? She says, "Don't be put off," right? It will have a positive effect if you clearly talk about that, right?
Okay.
You have to be clearly talk about what is happening at the very moment that you got communication and that mediumship is for real, and more
Yes.
important that the life is for real, right? And everything
Yes.
moves on, and you can
Yes.
don't be brave. She says, "Be brave. Don't care about anything. Just tell it to him and tell him I'm happy and tell him I'm active and tell him there's no more sickness. There's no more, and also no more depression. I felt he was in depression. There's no more depression, nothing there, right?" And she says,
Okay.
and that will help him. That will help him to gain access to his pain, to his heart,
Okay.
and thereby I feel that she's telling me that will help him to deal with his wife in a more constructive way, right? Because I feel that she's bringing to my attention that there must be some kind of difficulties between him and his wife.
Daniel,
I,
his wife passed on last 8th of May. So this year, 8th of May. So he's depressed about that also.
depression. There we go. Another
Yes.
depression coming in, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's what she's talking about. Thank you for clarifying that, right? And that will help him exactly with his relationship with his wife, which is
Yes.
now, of course, depression and grief. Right. That's what she's
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much. Right. And um, tell him that we live beautifully here and he shouldn't worry about us. And give him, give him, give him the time frame of 3 years.
Okay.
Give him the time frame of 3 years, and then there will be a significant improvement in his life regarding the way he feels, right? A
Okay.
significant,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
A significant. And I feel that she's telling me that the way he's dealing with his son, he has a
Mhm.
son,
Yes. Yes.
is very good. He's doing very good for his son, with his son. And that's perfect. There's nothing that she can say about that. That is all very, very good. She's very pleased with that.
Okay.
Yes, you should tell him that. She's very pleased how he acts out as a father. How he acts
Okay.
out as a father. She's very pleased with that. I feel that she's very happy with that, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now she's talking to you about you. They are all very happy what you do. They're all very happy about the development. And they want you to know, all want you to know that
Okay.
you will you will move on, you will develop in such a way that you cannot foresee at the very moment. So just be open. That's what she said. Just be open. Be
Okay.
active, be active and open. That's it. Be active, aware, and open. And
Okay.
then everything in that sense for you will work out very fine. She says you have had your trials, you have had your tribulations, and now it's time for you to work for your higher good and the higher good for everyone. And you don't need you know that very well. And in that sense, you also pave the way for the other members in the family and in the world, basically, to do the same. Be aware of that as well. And she leaves
Okay.
you with that again. They're very proud of you because it looks like you yourself, you are like the beacon of spiritual light in your family. And they want
Thank
you to
you.
know that, right? They want you to know that they are very happy about that.
Thank you, Daniel. Oh, that's so beautiful. So
Thank you.
beautiful. So much evidence. It's beautiful. I'll start with my grandfather. Um, when he was younger, yes, he was on the heavier side. He traveled for business. He between I'm originally from India, so he traveled between China and India
Hmm.
uh, to do a lot of business. It was to do with food stuff. I don't know the details. He provided very well for his family, but he helped others as well. The less fortunate in the family who didn't have enough, he supported them financially. Uh, he had a very warm smile, a very naughty smile. My grandfather's smile was very naughty, you know. He was warm-hearted and I'm sure he had a beautiful home even here. So I'm sure over there also he has a beautiful home. Um, he did slow dancing, yes. We had a lot of family gatherings. We celebrated Christmas and Diwali and all sorts of festivals my grandmother would celebrate. I remember her cutting a cake at midnight on Christmas, you know, to welcome Christmas. So it was they were open to all religions. I remember that. Um, the certificate of approvals that he's showing you, all his three children were accomplished in sports. My mother in squash, my aunt who came to you, she was Olympic swimmer. So there were lots and lots of certificates. So that's what he must be showing you.
Mhm.
Plus, I don't know, in his line of work, he may have also given certificates. There is uh, three daughters, yes. He was a strict father, yes. Um, he was firm with his sons-in-law, but he was happy with them. I know that. He was a controller in his family,
Mhm.
yes. Um, uh, yes, we all got a good education. My sisters, me, we all got a good education. I will become more aware. I understand that I have passed through some very tough lessons in life, which is why I turned to mediumship. It's my time to find my own soul purpose. I understand the message that you gave me as well. So thank you. That's beautiful. My aunt, that's his daughter, she passed from breast cancer on the left
Yeah.
breast.
Hmm.
So you pointed to the left side. So that is correct. Her left breast was affected. one son, one grandson. She loved her car. She had a 1962 Fiat. Until the time she passed, she drove that 1962 old black Fiat car. She loved, and she drove her own car. She loved to tell people what to do, how to do. If she didn't like you, she'll say, I don't like you, I don't like this about you. So very blunt person. Yes. She didn't stop smoking. She smoked for all her life. I remember my son once telling her that, Aunt, why don't you stop smoking? It's not good for your health. So she said it in our language, but she tried to tell him that the elephant has now passed. Only the elephant's tail is left, talking about her life, that most of her life has passed. Only the tail is now left. So why should I stop smoking now?
Mm.
That's what she told him. So I will be speaking to my cousin to wish him Happy New Year, etc. And I have some other things. So, and my cousin does believe in mediumship. I
Good.
have, so he believes in mediumship. So I will give him this, whatever she has said. And yeah, he lost his wife suddenly last 8th of May. They were sitting and talking, and suddenly she was 45. She grabbed her chest and gone,
Wow.
just like that at 45.
Terrible.
So he was, and I'm sure he's still in shock, but he is a
Yeah.
very good father. He's got a
Mhm.
son that's 18. So I have seen him with his son and all that. So, but I will, and I am hoping to go and see him when I go to India in 2 months' time. So
Mhm.
thank you. It's a beautiful message, and I think my aunt knows I'll be talking to him, so that's
Of
why
course.
she's come forward. Yes. So I loved it. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you.
Great, Nanus. Thank you so much
Oh,
for making that possible. Great.
thank you. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful Happy New Year. All the best for 2026 for you. Okay.
For you the
Thank
same.
you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.